Hi, welcome back to Engine Shop Joe. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about fault code 1654, which is engine cylinder 1 misfire. This is on a common rail engine. This happens to be a CM2350 ISX, and it's in a roll-off. And the fault would happen randomly. It started happening almost every day, and the driver would stop by the shop and the fault was always inactive. And so it was occurring enough that it was becoming irritating to the driver because the check engine light would come on. Sometimes the fault would stay active for a while. So what I told Jake was, tell the driver next time the light comes on, if he's in a place where he can tromp on it, step on it, and see if the engine pulls good, if it feels like it's missing, if it sounds like it's missing, if you can tell with your ears or the feel of the truck that something's wrong. So over the course of the next couple of weeks, the driver was able to do that. He was on the freeway and the light came on and he was able to step on it and pull, and he said it pulled good, but the light was on. It wasn't missing. So I know that fault is detected by exhaust gas pulses in the manifold. So I told Jake to pull the exhaust pressure sensor out and to blow down through that tube and see if it's open and look at the bottom of the exhaust gas pressure sensor and see if it's carboned up. So he called me up and he goes, "Oh, that's all open. Do you want me to change the injector, get an injector and replace it?" And I said, "Did everything on the sensor look okay?" And he said, "Well, it was old. It was the original one." He said, "This one did have a big long crack in the housing that the plug plugs into, all the way down to the top of the sensor, and it was a little bit kind of loose on the sensor." And I said, "Well, why don't you get an exhaust gas sensor and change it and see what happens?" So he said, "Okay, I'll call you back and let you know." So let's take a look at the fault that we saw in Fault Snapshot, and then I'll tell you the rest of the story. So this was the snapshot that he sent me to my phone, and it was 1654, and it was active, and it said that engine cylinder number 1 was misfiring. And I said, I said, "I want you to start the truck up and run it and tell me if it sounds okay." And he goes, "Yeah, it sounds fine." So I jumped in my car and I went down there and got to the shop, and I had him take a water hose and we cooled the exhaust manifold down, and we started it up, and there was no miss. Number 1 came right in, but the fault was staying active. So I checked the calibration revision. I checked to see if the revisions address his fault. They didn't. So I had mentioned earlier that the sensor was loose where the housing plug went on it. And so we put the new sensor in there, and we had the driver take the truck down the road and bring it back. When he got back, the fault was inactive. And then we cleared the fault, and the fault never came back. So that was different. And I don't know what was going on inside that exhaust gas pressure sensor that caused that, but it was driving that active fault on number 1. I kind of suspect there was something going on in the software that caused that fault to hang active. I can't really blame it all on the exhaust gas pressure sensor because it just sends values to the ECM as they change, voltages. So I think it was a combination of things. So I told Jake we're going to watch for an update on this fault. On this calibration. And the next time he comes in, if there is an update, we're going to put that revision in. And so we put the new sensor on, and we haven't seen the problem since. So I think that took care of it. Okay, so thanks for joining me on Engine Shop Joe. See you next time.